banner athletes are the center of attention after a action-packed weekend. Jay, you and I had a great one, and we hope to welcome you all in to the presentation of said trip and a lot more going on inside of the Protect You crew. Welcome on in, folks, to another episode of the Protect You podcast. Jake Wilson, as always, alongside Jay Mickens. Jay, we had a lot going on. We had a birthday celebration. We had some guys balling and deservedly getting the call. New guys coming in and joining the crew. And then a long road trip that you and I had that just caps everything off.
Yeah, no, it was a fun, feel-packed weekend.
Absolutely.
I think I owe myself a pat on the back because I'm glad that I took the weekend off last weekend because we definitely made up for it this weekend. A lot of going on, a lot of crazy, a lot of travel, but it was all fun. And, can't wait to jump into the show. Got to be a part of a homecoming festivities with the Louisiana Tech crew, right?
Yes,
the Bulldogs. Sir. And that was fun, right? Can't wait to show that and show how we were a part of a championship winning tailgate.
Yes,
so that's going to be awesome to show. And then obviously, right, the world's largest cocktail party, right? My first time getting to experience that and with Florida and Georgia. But yeah, it was definitely a fun weekend. We got to watch a little bit of high school ball in between our travels. And big shout out to our guy, Andy.
Yes.
Our
yes.
driver
Andy.
Yeah. He definitely made sure that we got there on time to and from our destination. But no, definitely excited, Jake, to jump into this show and can't wait to get it going.
Because you may have heard the announcement there and you may have seen the thumbnail and a couple of images that have been going around on our social media platforms, but Protecion United is officially 1 year old as of last week, Jay. Something that you and I are very excited to have been a part of. Obviously, you've been more invested in this in terms of time and in terms of financial, obviously, but just see the growth process as we roll through some of these photos here of year number one. It really does feel special.
Yeah, no, it's been fun, man. Great ride. Out of all the companies that I've started, never had one grow as fast as this one. To be blessed to now be representing, 60 plus athletes from the high school level all the way up to the college level. Right. And, just getting to add right to the crew as well. Right. Having obviously yourself, right. And the rest of the team here, just been a blessing for Derek and myself. And, couldn't be more proud, couldn't be more honored to be building something so special. And, this movement, right, is crazy. And I love that, the attention, that Protecion United is getting, right, good and bad, right, because at the end of the day, right, that means that people want to be a part of it. They want to see, the growth. And at the end of it, right, just a big believer. And if you're not doing something, you're not going to garner that, right? We take pride in everything that we're doing here, right, with our guys. And I love that, the parents, that are blessing us, with, allowing us to represent their athletes, right, and their children, I should say, right. We are proud and honored, right, to be doing that. And then, of course, right, just getting to build relationships with, the college coaches, the athletic directors, the general managers. It's just been great, right? And, they're enjoying doing, business with us. They like how we do things. And so now it's starting to be where you're getting to hang out with your friends, right? You're getting to hang out with your buddies and you're doing a little work along the way, right? So definitely it's been a fun, crazy year. And I cannot wait to get to year 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right?
Possibly,
all the way to however long we keep rocking this thing.
We keep the ship running, and I think it'll take us to some really successful places. And I think one of the more underappreciated parts of this that I had when I came into this was trying to understand the business of it all, of seeing everything as an asset, seeing everything as a connection and a means to get somewhere else. Whereas through this, I mean, I've only been here, Jay, 6 months technically with the company, but through that time, I've started to understand that these aren't assets, these aren't connections, these are people, these are families, these are meaningful connections that will surely lead to great things, but there's a lot more to it than that. And through discussions with several of the people that we've brought on, several that we'll get into in just this episode, there's been a lot more of that deep, more heartfelt connection, it feels like, as we've moved through these. And then obviously we get to have a lot of fun with it too,
Yeah.
where we get to have those really fun discussions of, hey, there's this new trend going on TikTok. What do you think about doing a dance during your social media coverage? Things like that, stuff that you don't really hear about when you talk about the brass tacks of sports agencies and NIL collective bargaining agreements. But it's the fun things that sort of fall between the cracks that I've really started to appreciate more as this journey has continued on with Protecion United,
Yeah,
Jay.
no, I appreciate that, brother, and that's what we want to be about, But yes, pretty badass to say, dude, I get to watch football, and this is actually work.
And it's my job.
This is my job. I'm getting to watch basketball, volleyball, and it's my job. Softball. It's just amazing. What we're getting to do, and I can't wait to continuously grow this thing. Getting opportunities to speak at expos, right, and being keynote speakers at certain events. Getting to be a part of all of that. It's just been amazing, and I love the fact that we have this podcast to where we get to like share these experiences, with the supporters, our fans, right, that watch the show, people that follow us from our other podcasts that we're a part of. It's just been fun, man, and yeah, it's as Derek Lagway, my business partner, always says, "Hey, it's only the beginning.
Yeah,
we got to keep working,
absolutely.
But this is it's just only the beginning. We're just getting started, and Protecion United is going to be here to stay. So excited for it.
Yes, absolutely. And so too does the buzz grow around Protecion United, where we're starting to get recognized a lot more in the places that we go. People coming up to us asking, "What is it exactly that y'all do? What is Protecion United?" So too does the buzz around our athletes, where we've been able to make those meaningful connections with general managers and coaches, like you've said, throughout this season. But as those guys start to talk to each other, they start to talk specifically about some of the athletes that we've been featuring as we move into the segment of Ball and Get the Call, where we've made this segment and sort of geared it around things like trying to make sure that those collegiate firsts happen, big moments that happen out on the field, rightfully get the spotlight here on the Protect You podcast. And we start off with a collegiate first for one of the members that was here before I was brought on and that I had an opportunity to get a meaningful connection with in terms of an interview, being able to do a short little write-up on him. And that is none other than Tyvon Byers out of Rice University, where Jay, he got his first collegiate touchdown.
He did, brother. And he did it against, a top 25 program against, University of Memphis, right? I mean, getting to see what he's doing, and getting his opportunity. And I love, what his mom says. She was like, "I don't care what the scoreboard says. My guy got in the end zone, had a great couple of catches, in this game as well. But just to see, one of the best running backs to come through the state of Texas. Tata actually had an opportunity to go to a lot of different schools, right? But he wanted to go to Rice University because he also cares about the academics and understands the importance that come with that. But for him, right, to do what he did on the gridiron as a 4-year starter in high school, and he's a true freshman, and to finally get his number called and to take full advantage of it just speaks high volumes of, what he's doing for Rice. And I think that they know the future is very bright with number 26.
No doubt in any of that, because I've preached multiple times during this segment in particular about guys trying to make and take full advantage of the opportunities that they are given, trying to make sure that they put themselves in a positive position regardless of where you are on the roster. And Ty did exactly that. It doesn't matter how deep you could be on the roster. It doesn't matter, how things may look one way or the other, but so long as you're able to take advantage of your position and show that you deserve to be in that spot, you're going to be off to a pretty good start. And I think Ty is definitely doing that. He's deserving of the praise and the position that he has put himself into. And with that said, we now move to the high school ranks with a guy that you and I have talked about several times on this Ball and Get the Call. But again, if you deserve it, you're going to get the call. And it is none other than Superman and Dylan Mitchell.
It's a plane. It's Superman. AKA, I love Autopilot. I'm just going to say that. That's my favorite nickname. I know his dad probably gets tired of me telling the story. It's funny as hell, though. when this man was breaking down his game plan and he was like, I'm gonna do this with this kid, we're gonna do this is how we're gonna beat him. And then I'll just get autopilot. He's autopilot, so I'll just go ahead and just put him in autopilot mode and go to work. It makes me laugh every time because it's so true, right? And, Dillon Mitchell, he's that guy, 2028, sophomore, and, he's got 2 more years of high school football, world-class speed, and you're about to see it right now going against one of the best programs, not only in the state of Texas, but in the nation in North Shore. And look at the speed and the breakaway. I guarantee you Dillon just tells a quarterback, man, just throw it. Like, throw the ball as far as you can, and I'm going to go get it because I'm that guy. Love the fact that you see the separation right out the
break. Before he even enters the camera, he's already got about 2 yards of separation.
Right. And here's the deal, too, guys. Like, 32 for North Shore, he runs a 4.5 40. That's what I'm saying about Dillon Mitchell to show how fast he is. Look, North Shore, they do not recruit slow DBs. They got DBs. Go look at Devin Sanchez, true freshman playing for the Ohio State Buckeyes because they're like DBU, right? And for Dillon to say, I don't care about none of that. You can't keep up with me. And Dillon shows what he can do. And once again, this young man can't even drive yet. He's only 15.
That's
he's
insane.
15 years old, and he's out there doing the thing. But when you finish 4th in the state of Texas in the 100-yard meters, when you go out and dominate on the Nike circuit, you show, who you are. C.E. King's doing a phenomenal job, his high school, getting them the football. The coaches understand their assignment there. But I just love the fact that we're starting to see Dillon Mitchell really, really, really go from just being a household name here locally, here in Houston, to where now not only is he known around the state, but now Dillon is starting to become a household name nationally. Honored to be representing this young man. And once again, Dillon, you keep balling, homie. We're going to keep calling. So bottom line on that.
Yes, he did lead the team in receptions and yards in their game against North Shore. 7 catches, 125 yards, and that touchdown catch like you saw there. Very happy to see him continuing to show up and show out consistently despite what you may think of his small stature and his young age. That guy does not believe in any of that BS.
Hell no. Look, at the end of the day, and neither those college coaches. I mean, he has, 10, P4 offers already. And we know that's going to go to 20, 30, 40. So, I mean, he's a guy that we definitely know that college coaches don't care about that. They know a football player when they see one.
Yes, and speaking of ball players, we got another one out of the state of Louisiana where, Jay, you and I, we talked about the value of having those good expos and being able to get out there and meet those people face to face. And one of the guys that we met was none other than Alex Fontenot. Jay, I know we aren't allowed to play favorites, but if we were, Alex Fontenot would certainly be one of my first picks because this guy just balls.
Yeah, he does. I mean, 2027 receiver. This young man will be picking up a ton of offers when it's all said and done. I mean, and it's off of just a catch like that. I mean, you look at what that young man did. You see the diving catch, being able to find the football. I mean, like the way he tracks the ball down, he uses that long frame. Another kid, 6'3", long arms, great route runner. I mean, he runs like a deer. Look, I don't know what we compare him to, right? I don't want to get into that whole thing because then a lot of times you can either pigeonhole someone or you can stereotype based off of, color or whatever, right? But all I'm saying is that we've seen guys that get under-recruited and because they're like, man, how is he doing this, right? He doesn't look like a Randy Moss or he doesn't look like a, I would say civil Antonio Brown, right?
Yes.
Right? He doesn't look like that. But however, you see the route running and you see the way that he tracks the football down. And it's like, how can you not see some of that, right? In that young man. What he is doing, 35 receptions, 700 yards, 14 tutties, right? Tied for second, right?
Yes, good enough for tied second in the entire state of Louisiana.
And let's see, he's from that Louisiana. So you're talking about guys that play in that like a Justin Jefferson, like a Jamar Chase. Like you get what I'm saying? Like it's not like that he's in South Dakota.
True.
Right? I mean, he's in a state that is just riches and riches of wide receiver talent. and he's doing his thing.
And you talk about too, we had a discussion with his family too, where it was a lot of they play so many blowouts that he barely even gets in during things like the second half. So he's doing all of that with limited production because the team is just that good.
Yeah, no,
this is a top 5 squad in the entire state of Louisiana, Jay.
Look, he's a dude, bro. I mean, like I know he's got some talent around him. You know, that QB, he's the real deal. You know, we another young man that you know, we're working on as well that is a part of that unit. But Alex is, I mean, he's a guy. And I'm so excited to be, you know, working with him over the break, right? When the regular season's over with, kind of going over his camp schedule, kind of laying out what it's going to look like for that last camp schedule for him. Because he's a young man that won't be camping just to be camping.
No. That guy will be going out there to get those star ratings.
Exactly.
That coaches tend to value quite a bit, but I think statistically speaking, he'll be able to back that up. This will be an easy, I think, 1,000-yard receiving season for Alex. Even though they only have a couple of games left, I think he's still well within that pace where he could be reaching that quadruple digit territory.
But I think that carries over to playoffs, though. So,
absolutely,
you know,
absolutely.
So he'll have more than a couple of games unless there's going to be some upsets happening. But
no, this team will be playing in the Superdome whenever those playoffs come around.
I feel like they will be, and I hope to be there to support and make sure our guys getting his just due. But SEC schools, y'all get ready. We got a dude that's going to be coming to some camps to you guys here real soon, and we're expecting to get those offers when he leaves. So have those DBs, they're ready, so that way you can see what Alex Fontenot can really do.
Yes, this kid is special. I think he's going to be another one of those. How did this guy slip between the cracks, and how did this guy get away from such big offers? But it's because y'all just didn't know that Alex was dog.
Well, but they know now, and
they know now.
And that's why him and that's why him and his folks wanted to get it with Protecion United, because they understand that through the recruiting service part that we offer our athletes and everything that we do to help put them on, like this podcast that we're on right now, right? You know, and the social media posting and the support. I mean, it takes a village,
yes,
right? And we're just honored to be a part of their village, and you know, it's always great when you can, you know, represent, you know, just great young men too. You know, the 3 that we just talked about, right, with Tata and Dylan and now Alex. I mean, all fine young men, right? And I think we've been blessed in that part of it too, to where, you know, all of our athletes are great human beings, right, on and off the field, right, and makes our job so much easier when you have people that are fully invested, understanding their assignment, and you know, not trying to fight against the machine, right? You know, and glad that we've been able to block that away from us and only focus on the ones that want to be blessed, the ones that want, you know, what's best for them, and understanding our role that we can do, you know, in that. And so I'm excited, bro. This is good stuff that we're getting to put out here for all of our athletes. And hey, y'all continue to do it, man. Keep sending in those videos. You guys are in your group text. Addie Madison will be obviously reaching out weekly to you all. But hey, if y'all want to be on ball, if you get the call, we got to get the clips.
Absolutely.
That's the only way it works, right, Jay?
Absolutely. And it's, again, huge credits go out to the family members and the athletes as well for getting these clips out to us in a timely manner, because that's the way it works. That's the way it works. And one other thing too,
I think Computer Jesus got.
I just want to give a quick shout out to the Parnells, Nita Mack, and Joseph Page out of Mississippi, joining us on YouTube.
Heck yeah, man. Heck yeah. There we go. Continue to expand those borders, Jay. We love that.
Man, what is that? M-I, cricket letter, I. Is that right? Then the humpback I. You remember, you never learned Mississippi? Like, okay, I'm from Tennessee. Anyway, appreciate you guys watching, supporting the show. Guys, anybody else wants to, you know, comment on there, guys, go on our YouTube. Please hit that subscribe button. But then obviously comment, and Computer Jesus will give you a shout out like we just did. But thank you guys so much for watching.
Yes, absolutely. Because like you said, Jay, it takes a village, and it's due all of this in no small part to excellent viewers and subscribers like y'all. So it truly does mean the absolute most. And we finish out the ball and get the calls segment, and we move now into the rising stars and the newest members of the Protect You crew. And Jay, I'm very excited to talk about this guy. Generated a lot of national buzz when he picked up a couple of critical offers over the past couple of weeks. A name that might sound familiar to those of y'all here around the Protection United circle, and it is none other than Jamal Lagway.
Yeah, baby. Hey, the baby brother of the great DJ Lagway. But what I love about Jamal is he said, "Hey, I want to stand on my own 2 feet, right?" And it's now time for him to get some sunshine, Jake. And as you're gonna see as these clips roll through, what Jamal is doing, at that DB position, right? Once again, another 2028, kind of strong 28 class. I'm just gonna throw that out there, but another 28 guy playing underneath those Friday night lights, 6A big boy football. And Jamal's always been a headhunter. I'm just going to call it what it is. Watching him all the way from little league football, I used to tell his dad, Derek, all the time that my favorite thing was to watch Jamal play defense. I know he could run the ball. I know he could catch the ball, be a receiver. But my favorite thing was to watch him just come downhill and help and run support. And as you see on these clips, you see why. I mean, he doesn't need help, right? He doesn't need help making tackles. He's going to do his thing. He can cover. He has become, just that guy. And the fact that he has 2 more years of high school football, he's only going to get better and better. He's already got the measurables, right, which is why he picked up Florida as well as A&M offers. I mean, look at that tackle, by the way. I mean, just taking the legs out. I mean, he's always been that guy to get you off your feet. Watch him just coming downhill right here, right, from the safety position, which they play him there sometimes. They kind of move him around. And look at that. I mean, he coming 20 yards downfield from an angle and just flies in and makes the play. But yeah, Jamal is a guy that, a lot of schools are recognizing his talents. And, hey, kudos to A&M for being the first one out the gate to say, hey, we recognize it and we want you to remember that we were your first and we're only right down the street. So, but, of course, Florida follows up, and we expect Jamal to pick up, more and more offers on that P4 level as, this progresses through not only the rest of the regular season, but also during the playoffs as well.
And I think, too, this speaks a lot to the strengths of what Willis has been building, both as a program and as a culture, where you talk about the great pieces that have come through there. Obviously, you talk about DJ, but then the mentorship that Jamal has been receiving from another Ironman athlete in Jermaine Bishop Jr., of being able to pick up those nasty tendencies of having a great lockdown mentality out of the DB position, and then also being able to, have those flashy moments, understand great technique. We saw one earlier on a comeback route where the receiver does have a really good shot at making that catch, but he punches that ball out and he gets in there at the last second. Those are the type of things that you want to see out of that level of a defensive back. And he still has 2 years left to further hone those skills. I think it speaks greatly to Jamal's skill set, to his mindset even more, that he's been able to take on this many roles, take on this many responsibilities, and then put the pieces together while still learning.
Right. No, exactly. And, I mean, he's been around football his whole life. Dad coached him as well. And, when you're a coach's kid, you learn the game of football at a high level at a very young age. So then all the thing you're waiting on is puberty to hit, right? And for you to be able to consistently, do your job. But from a mental standpoint, this is something that has always been instilled in Jamal. And I just love the fact that Jamal has now gone from being DJ's little brother to Jamal Lagway, right? And I love that he is saying like, hey, the big tree is now gone to Florida, right? And now I get all the sunshine, right? I don't have anything, blocking me. And a lot of people don't understand the difference in that. A lot of people think that it's easy to have to be the younger brother of a once-in-a-lifetime generational talent in a DJ Lagway. But Jamal has weathered the storm, right? People have challenged him because of the last name, right? I can only imagine, what things were said to him on the field, but it doesn't affect him. And in turn, you see the plays that Jamal can make. And, with him being, in my opinion, the next big-time shutdown DB to come out of the great state of Texas, you're going to see over these next couple of years. And then, of course, when he gets to playing on Saturdays and then, hey, potentially playing on Sundays too, like what Big Bro is going to be doing. I mean, it's going to be great for Nikki and for Derek to see both of their sons, right? Only getting to live their dream, but, really playing at such a high level and being very effective in doing so.
Yes, I love everything that you just said there, Jay, because a lot of family connection is there. continuing to grow and support around Protection United. And speaking of those familial type connections, we roll pretty decently deep in Magnolia and in that Magnolia area. And we got another addition coming out of that Bulldog program, and it is none other than the big man QB, 6'3", Zane Brown out of Magnolia. This guy is someone that you and I are very excited to see. Someone that has been able to put out those good highlights at the JV level. You may hear that and think that it's a caveat at the JV level, but I dare you to watch this play here. Broken play, and still delivers a touchdown pass and say that that is anything other than special.
Yeah, no. I mean, look, you see mom going nuts right there above it, right? But yeah, I mean, Zane has just sprouted up like a tree. I mean, he might be the human version of a chia pet. Because, I mean, when I saw this kid, Jake, I was looking down to him. And when I saw him, a couple of weeks ago, right, at that Magnolia Klein Collins game, and he rolls up on me, and I'm just like, who is this kid? And just getting to see. But, I mean, he's a legit 6'3". He has the measurables that you're looking for, right, for a QB. Has the arm strength. He has a way of being able to create a different pocket, in a new pocket. And you're going to see that as these clips kind of roll through. Understands, even on a play like that, knew that he had a free play and he went over the top, right? He has that high IQ and he has everything that, you're looking for. And what I applaud, his parents is that they understand, hey, the quarterback position is such a sensitive spot. You need to be able to have someone that's in your corner, even if it's at a young age. He's another 2028, right? So he's got a couple of more years, and when you're in a situation of where you're like, hey, we know that we're going to be the next guy up, it's an opportunity for us to kind of start showcasing, promoting, getting our things out. Does help, that we also represent some other QBs, and I think that they've been seeing that. But Zane is going to be a guy that we personally feel is going to be great, not only at high school level, but he will garner attention on a collegiate level. And everybody's journey is going to be different, right? We all want the P4 offers. He might have started the FCS level, right? Or like the group of 5 level with the FBS and kind of move up, kind of like what, Jalen Mickens, right? Is currently doing, being at Louisiana Tech, or Tata Byers being at Rice University. However, when you see the arm strength, and just watch what this young man does in the offseason. We already have his game plan set up for when it comes to the offseason training, the camp preparation, and watch what he does when he goes to these camps and starts showing his real skill set and his talents. He's going to blow the lid off, right? And, that's why, I applaud Zane, applaud his parents, and here's the other thing that's really unique about this young man, to show his commitment. He was huge into riding dirt bikes. And mom and dad said, hey, so no college coach is going to want you to continuously ride dirt bikes and be a daredevil, if you will, and also want you to come lead their program. And Zane goes, hey, put it on the market. Let's sell it. I'm all in. And that just speaks, to the commitment that he's ready to put into this craft. And, I'm excited to be working with him. Cannot wait, right, to help him with his recruiting pitch decks and start getting his name out there for all these other colleges to kind of start getting him on the radar, and we go from there.
Yes, joining now the fleet of 2028 quarterbacks that we're starting to assemble here at Protection United. And we move into yet another one, and one out of the College Park area here in North Houston, out of 136A, one of the more competitive districts when it comes to top-level talent. Obviously, you talk about things like the Woodlands, Willis, Grand Oaks. They've got a couple of new pieces coming up. Conroe.
Yeah, but also just to throw in 15-6A real quick.
Magnolia's
in
that same, and also really competitive.
Which is why both of these QBs are on JV.
Yes.
Because there's so much talent in these two districts.
Yes, and we are obviously talking about Corbin Schmeckel, the JV quarterback out of College Park. This is another guy that is going to further develop, further hone those critical skills that'll make him that type of a quarterback that college coaches and especially high school coaches are going to want to go after.
Well, and you see this first throw. He threw that with ease. And look where that ball was landing. That was a 50-yard just at ease. It was effortless.
And right in the basket, too.
Right. And just look at that. I mean, he could throw in any position. It doesn't matter if it's off his back foot, if he can step into it. I mean, Corbin is a guy that, once again, been blessed to, known since he was 6 years old, right? And, watched him play in the Little League. He played for our select tackle football organization here, Texas Pines Elite, and was able to do a lot of things. Actually, it's funny, Jake, because Corbin also played against Dylan Mitchell and Jay Storm and Brandon Hebert.
Yeah.
Yep, in a game at Grand Oaks, ironically, for the Pines. But, I mean, you look at Corbin now, I mean, you see his pocket presence. Obviously another young man that has the measurables that colleges are looking for. Corbin is very athletic, and a lot of people don't know that he can also play linebacker. He's got great quickness. And he's just a great young man. And you can see right here, even on his run, I mean, with the RPO action, he has very deceptive speed, too. And then, of course, he ain't a dude that's going to round the bounds. I got to work with him and tell him, hey, look here, homie, I'm going to need you to start sliding or getting out of bounds. We'll work on that in the offseason. But he's just tough as nails, great young man. And once again, I mean, I know that's kind of a repeat of that first clip, but Corbin Smeckel is a young man that if it wasn't for a national recruit in Camden Hughes, he'll be starting right now for College Park. That is the only reason why he's not starting for that high school here that is currently undefeated.
Yes.
And soon to be district champs here and going into the playoffs, hot as fire grease. But Corbin's now being moved up to the varsity level, and depending on what happens, right, with the game flows, Corbin's looking to get an opportunity to actually get some varsity film. And, I hope that it happens this Friday night, right? Because then it could be if you ball, you get the call segment for our guy getting his first taste of what it feels like to be underneath those lights and getting to play, some varsity 6A football. But honored to be working with him, good friends with his mom and dad. And, they believe in everything that we're doing here. And, they've known the Lagways forever as well, too. And, just an honor and a privilege to be working with them. And I cannot wait to, get started with him as well. And he's already training crazy. So he's got that part set up. But we need to get his camp schedule set up and set in and make sure that we're doing all the right things to go along with, his 7-on-7, that he's already a part of a great organization and he's getting the reps that he needs and the recognition there. So we're just going to come put that final little piece, Jake, together for Corbin. And hey, nation, y'all be on the lookout because he's another young man that will not get you fired and will get a lot of coaches some contract extensions.
Yes, and it feels almost, Jay, like we're collecting 2028 quarterbacks like they're infinity stones because we're just getting so many of them, so many good quality ones at that, too. You talk about Zane is a great quarterback who already has the measurables of what you would want for that type of position as a D1 recruit.
Yep.
You talk about the guy that already has a great work ethic, has a great engine like you already see here in the form of Corbin Schmeckel. And then obviously you got Holt Harley Adams that has really started to develop and grit those pieces of he's already on a lot of quarterback recruiting boards and he hasn't even played varsity yet.
Yeah.
But he's done all the things he needs to do behind the scenes to be already at the forefront of that 2028 class. So with all of those guys coming together and the collective knowledge that we have of getting those QBs into those value positions for college recruits, college coaches, I think that these guys, Zane and Corbin especially, will be fitting pretty nicely into our gauntlet here at Protecion United.
Yes, exactly. And it's funny, right? I love that we get live. We're a live show and we get live messages. So big shout out to Misty Smeckel, Corbin's mom. She just sent a text saying that Brown and Corbin started together at SCFL on the same team.
There you go.
How cool is that? How cool is that? So, and they started, I believe they both started at the age of 6, which would have been, second year freshman level. Did not know that. But that's pretty cool. I think they were the Seahawks. I think Papa Smeckel was the head coach, James. I think he was, if I remember that correctly. And they also, I think, went against BJ Scoggin. I want to say, because BJ's only lost I think 2 or 3 games in that. No, in SCFL, he's only lost 2 games to SCFL teams. And one being the yours truly. But then he lost one to Smeckle. And I think that it was on that same team.
Part of the reason why, yeah.
With Zane and Corbin on there. Okay.
All right.
Thank you for that.
It's a dynamic duo there out of the very young ages of the SCFL, but
I agree.
Quite the combo to have.
That is.
Quite the combo.
That is quite the combo to have because we see the development and where they are now. So
yes, quite the combo. And from one combo that we didn't even know about, but we appreciate the update just the same, Mr. Smeckle, but from one combo now into another, one that was chosen not by choice, but by blood. And we're talking about, Jay, the Newman twins. We've been rolling pretty deep inside of John Cooper and the John Cooper School. We appreciate their cooperation as well in terms of making those connections. But Jay, you and I are very excited to announce a offensive line duo. And we'll start out here with none other than Parker Newman. When we were looking through some of these photos, we looked at that and said, that's just a bulldog of an offensive lineman in the trenches. And
yeah,
I think it's the neck pad, the face mask combination, but we're very excited to have this 2027 offensive tackle guard out of John Cooper joining the ranks.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you're looking at, a guy that can play on the outside, also can play in the interior, can also play some center as well, too. What I like really the most about Parker is he's got that dog mentality. I mean, he finishes every block so viciously. And, when you have an athlete and a young man to where your only issue is that you got to tell them to calm down, I think that's a great problem to have because in college, they're not telling those dudes to calm down. Like they want that, right? And, Parker is a guy that, very high Q, athlete. Dad played football at Syracuse, right? You and I had the pleasure of getting to interview Mom, right? And so I think the combination of Pam and Joe with, Joe having that, just that dog mentality and him, of course, Mom knows how to, control things from the mental aspect. And then you have, just a great athlete, in, Parker that, in my opinion, kind of can play the tackle position. I think that he's going to end up great now, in all honesty, to be a guard, unless he continues to grow, to be 6'6", 6'7", kind of like our guy Colin Weeks. But if not, on a collegiate level, that's where I kind of see him transition into.
Yes, and I think it's pretty critical to talk about that too as we watch these clips roll through of being that good as an interior offensive lineman, of when those linebackers are crashing down, of being able to chip them for just a half a second to give your running back or your quarterback a little bit more time. We've seen that multiple times in this, and then the importance too of working towards that second level. Parker has blocked multiple guys in just this highlight reel about 15 yards deep into the defensive secondary. This guy gets after it on his assignments, and he has, on top of that dog mentality, on top of having that tenacity to get out there and then just truck somebody over, he's smart enough to know when it's important to turn that off. Being able to say, all right, I don't need to get after it on this one. I need to chip. I need to pass this one off to my tackle. I need to pass this one off to my center.
Right.
That's a good switch to have.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree, Jake. And, and I know it will be a little of a repeat, right? Because we'll be jumping on Peyton here in a little bit. But really excited to be working, with both and, helping, Parker as well as Peyton in regards to, their camp circuit, building these relationships with these college coaches and kind of helping get their name, put out there, a little bit more as well too. When meeting with, Joe, like that was one of the things, right, that we discussed of, what can I do more, Jay? Like I feel I'm doing a good job on social media. I'm trying to promote every week, trying to get things out, but what else, can we do here? And that's when we decided, hey, come over to Protecion United. Let's, get our, database. Let's get our, guys right in the mix that we built relationships with, and that's helped, get, Parker on the radar. And, Parker is going to be a guy that I personally feel, if he continues to do what he's doing, because he's already has the measurables, in my opinion, to be a P4, interior, and the fact that he can play center as well as guard, that's something that kind of reminds me of like our guy Dylan Kenny that is at TCU via Abilene Christian, right? So once again, everybody's journey is going to be different, and that theirs could end up being, potentially the same.
Yes, I absolutely agree with that. Of being able to fill that multifaceted role of, you talk about the offensive line, especially, you can sort of plug and play with a lot of those critical positions. Obviously, tackles are a little bit more dependent on having that good footwork, whereas interior offensive linemen, you can move them right side, left side. Sometimes, if they can even snap the ball halfway decent, you move them into that center position. So I think it's incredibly valuable that Parker has been able to adapt to whatever role it is that he's needed. And I think he's maybe found his heart and soul in that interior sort of guard position in the offensive line. And we move now into our final edition and another member of the Newman family. That is, of course, Peyton Newman, rounding out another 2027 offensive tackle slash guard position. A lot more physically imposing, but definitely a welcome member to the Protect You crew, along with his twin brother. And Jay, I'm very excited to roll into these clips because this guy is just another dog. I don't know what they've got cooking inside of that Newman household, but Peyton gets after it just as much as his brother does.
Hey, I can tell you what they're cooking. A lot of food, a lot of food. And he once again, right? Peyton, he's one that definitely needs to stay in the interior. I know that he also can play center as well. I know his dad makes him practice it a lot. Peyton is, I would say, the one that, from a technical standpoint, right, probably has an edge there, and oh my, woo wee, man. Sorry, that clip threw me off. I know we watched it during pre, but man, and it kind of leads to my point here. Sorry for the fans watching the show, but there's certain vicious blocks that throw me off for a loop. But Peyton is kind of like that technician, if you will, right? He's like the Tim Duncan of our offensive lineman because he has great feet. He understands where the ball is always going, and he has quick feet too, right, for a big, right, which makes him, in my opinion, very intriguing for a lot of college coaches. And hey, that's Peyton. What you're seeing is what you're getting out of Peyton Newman. I mean, I would say that he's probably the meanest one, right? If Parker got mamas, I would say personality. I think Peyton's got that chip on his shoulder from dad type personality. Joe was under recruited, and had to make his way from JUCO, then from JUCO to Syracuse, and had to do it himself. Didn't really have a lot of help. This stuff wasn't existing in time. And, Joe was not a 6'7" monster, right? So I think Peyton, right, not having hit that growth spurt fully yet like Parker has, I think he feels like he's got to go harder and prove a little bit more. And I think that he loves playing that underdog mentality. And look at that. Took on 2 blocks and then just vicious. I mean, Peyton Newman, right, is going to be another guy that when they're at these camps and they're doing the things that they're doing, these O-line coaches are going to be just jumping all over them to help them, I would say, continuously grow. They also are going to help them, in essence, of being recruited, because a lot of people are going to want to work with these young men, and they're going to want to give them and offer them, what level, we don't know, right? Like I mentioned earlier in regards to Parker, and as well as the other young man we announced, right? I mean, everybody's journey is going to be different, but I do feel that just because of the fact that, just like with Parker, Peyton has that dog mentality and that aggression. And honestly, those are things that you can't teach. It's either in you or it's not. It's just that with the technician part with Peyton and the good feet and the quickness, him firing off the ball, I just feel that those are things that are going to end up really, truly helping him when it's all said and done.
Yes, absolutely. Rounds out a very well-rounded group of new additions to the Protect You crew. Couple offensive linemen, couple QBs, and then one high-flying and high-priority defensive back. Rounds out the new additions to the Protect You crew. And Justin, I know you've been messaging us because we got a couple of chatters too that are starting to make some noise out there in the YouTube chats.
Yeah, so just go ahead and roll them off, and Jake and I can respond.
Yeah, just shout out to Sam Coleman, 2027 quarterbacks, Catherine Brown.
What did Sam Coleman say?
It said, don't forget the 2027 quarterbacks.
Okay, hey, change your camera to both Jake and I, if you don't mind, because I want to be able to respond to them. Yeah, so hey, you're right, Sam. We're not forgetting about Tavis. You're right. We We definitely have a great QB in Tavis Coleman. He has been killing it, and we love seeing everything that Tavis has been doing. And of course, we love the Coleman family, right, as well. But yes, we do have a great staple of QBs, and we know that no team in America can play American football without a QB.
That's true.
All right.
That is true.
He also asked, what year are the Newman twins?
The Newman twins, those are 2027.
27.
So you got a 2027 offensive tackle / guard for both of the Newman twins.
Yes, love it. What's next, Computer Jesus?
Then GP at H-Town asks, my opinion, but y'all should pick up all of Billy Mitchell's kids from the Southwest Junior Marlin.
Yeah.
All of them are starters on the varsity teams for different schools.
Yes.
Yeah. Hey, that's that team, Jake, that I was telling you about, to where every team was questioning the age of those young men.
You had to show some birth certificates for that.
Over and over. I mean, but yes, I agree. I agree with you said GP H-Town. Is that right, Justin?
Yeah, GP at H-Town.
Okay, so GP at H-Town, yes, you're 100% correct. We should, because they all were dogs. But I will say, we do, like I mentioned earlier, we have Dylan, we have Jay Storm Knight, and we do have Brandon Abear from that team. But hey, if you want to connect this brother, you know how to get a hold of us, man. Shoot them our way. You can DM us on our Instagram page or on our X page, formerly known as Twitter. Or you can just hit up Computer Jesus like you are now and make the connections. And we would love to meet with those young men as well as their parents to kind of discuss how we roll over here at Protecion United.
Yes, and speaking of meeting up with some of the parents, making some of those deeper connections as well, Jay, we hinted at it earlier. We hinted at it last week about the big-time road trip that we were taking, and we took full advantage of it. We started out with our first trip and our first stop, I guess, the first leg of the trip, where we made it out to scenic Ruston, Louisiana, because we had to go out there and show some support on a Halloween night homecoming game for the Louisiana Tech and the Bulldogs. And Computer Jesus, you're good to show this first picture here because there's a lot of story behind this one.
Yeah, I mean, as you can see, man, this is myself holding that sign dead center, and then we got all the parents, right, that was a part of the tailgate, man. Just big shout out, for just inviting us. We have a very active group me that is ran by our leader Jenna, and we're just kind of having fun and eating some. First of all, the food was amazing.
Yes, it was.
I mean, we're gonna pause right there and talk about it. Let's talk about it. I mean, we had, of course, burgers and hot dogs. That's the standard. You got to have that at a tailgate, right? But then, the smoked chicken wings.
Mm-hmm.
Woo! Dude, fire.
Smoked chicken wings. They had some nice beans in there too. That was
it was so good. I mean, but anyway, so we're having a good time, right? I think it was some adult beverages might have been there as well too. But then all of a sudden, I guess we were having so much fun, we didn't know that we were being scouted. And and I think, Jake, you saw it first because you're like, hey, why does this dude keep walking around in a circle, just hovering?
Just hovering around all the tailgates. This guy, I was like, is he looking for a free drink? Some group that he could try and hop in on?
Right.
But little did we know, Jay.
Little did we know. Little did we know that they were actually trying to find what was the most livest tailgate, the most entertaining, the most energetic, the most fun for the 2025 homecoming. And we were a part of it.
Yes, we were.
We were a part of it. Big shout out to the crew. We won. We are now La Tech famous. Like I told them in the group, I don't think we can walk around anymore with the commoners. Like when we go to the Bulldog Walk, I don't know if we can just be down there in the trenches with them.
We got to wall. You got to wall off the tailgate now because people are going to want to be a part of that.
Yeah, I think so. We got to have security. I think once security escorts the team in, they should just come over and protect us because I just don't know. But anyway, it was so much fun. I know the hosts are getting like sausage.
Yes, they are.
Like
yes,
free
they
sausage,
said
right?
They would mail them free sausage, which quite the prize to win. But hey, if it's worth it,
right? So Neil and Marissa Page, thank y'all for letting us come. I hate we won't do another one because the 22nd, I think my guys got to be out of town. Hey Neil, why don't you just change your trip? Change it so we can be there on the 22nd for a 2:00 kickoff, and then we can be more of like a brunch type setup.
Yeah.
right? Chicken and waffles, some mimosas, and then we go watch our Bulldogs kick some ass,
Yeah.
right? I'm showing my homerism a little bit here, but it's okay. Y'all know my baby plays for this team. So, but anyway, fun. And then of course on this next picture here that we got, right, which is great. You might want to take us off the screen now, computer just kind of make that
There
big.
you
Thank
go.
you. Yeah, we don't want to cut off any faces, but that was fun. Getting to wait for our guys to come to finish off the Bulldog walk. And getting to like show love and getting to hug them and all the things there. Obviously, you and I just kind of sitting there, in our seats, and then of course, now getting to see the guy here, right? Picture of still photo, right? Jalen being out there, and right there, right, getting to see a former teammate and Josiah Stevens, right? Got to play and compete together on the same side. And now Josiah's with Sam Houston. Little photo, right? Me and my dude, right, after the game. Like those black unis.
Yes, those were pretty clean.
Yeah.
Those were pretty clean.
Yeah.
It fed into that Halloween night type of vibe, fed into the beating that they were able to put on their opponents in
was a
that
beating.
game where,
That was a beatdown.
55-14 and a win for Louisiana Tech. An excellent job there, and there's the family.
Yeah, the fiance. There she is, Miss Hannah, of course. Love them too, man. Love their relationship and how they support each other, man. It's really neat to see, especially at such a young age. I'm just happy Jalen came out in the uniform. I mean, typically we got to wait for this guy to go shower and do all the things, but I'm glad that he came out and didn't have us waiting too long in the cold because, Jake, you and I had, oh, yeah, that's right. I don't want to jump too soon, but I love, that's right, I forgot we have videos, right? I mean, kind of got to caption that a little bit. The weather was different, right? So I had to have the hoodie around the waist there.
Just in case.
Yeah, just in case. Oh, we needed it. No, we needed it, brother. And, kind of cool to get to see the legend there. We didn't get to see Terry Bradshaw. He already left before we got there. But, got to see the band obviously perform, during the Bulldog walk. As you mentioned, right? I mean, it's a little bit more of a intimate feel at Ruston, right? And you're able to kind of be right up on top of them a little bit. But
yes, in more ways than one, Jay. Here. In more ways than one. You got us some pretty nice seats. You got us some really good position there, up there where they were serving and they were pulling out all the stops.
Yeah, I know.
But it's homecoming weekend.
It is homecoming,
You got to show out for the alumni that were up there. Had gumbo, etouffee.
Well, they actually do that every
boudin.
Game. They do that every game, Jake. It's just a different menu, Not sure why the parent group called me bougie for being up there. I think that was kind of rude, if you ask me. But, that's still my crew, man. We rock out, travel together, and have fun. Great fun season. Couldn't have asked for a better group of parents and coaches and fan base for, Jalen to get his first experience of college football. So definitely been fun to kind of watch and, as you're kind of rolling through these videos, I mean, just kind of getting to see that. But I'm glad that he came out in the uniform. And I can get back to that point. First of all, big shout out to everyone that's watching, from our parent group me at La Tech. Appreciate the love and support. Just kind of, y'all just met me. And, you guys, welcome us into your family, the ones that have been in La Tech for, years. And we just really appreciate it. Jalen, speaking of Jalen and myself, your sons have showed, my son a lot of love in the locker room, helped him kind of get acclimated fully, ever since he got there, in February, right, for that next quarter. So they're not on semester, they're on a quarter system. And it's just been a great experience, and we love everything about La Tech. But it was time, Jake, for us to, after that, we had to jet back to Houston.
Yes.
Our guy
and Andy put the pedal to the metal to make sure that we did not miss it.
Hey.
We were going to be there before TSA got there.
Bro, I've never in my life got to an airport and I'm like, are we opening up the airport? Like, where are the workers? Why is everything? If they didn't have the couch area open, like, we'd have been outside for an hour and a half. Like, you and I had time to go change clothes, go brush our teeth, freshen up, because we were leaving an area where it was about 50 degrees
Yes,
to
it got pretty
going
cold up there in
to
Louisiana.
going to now Jacksonville, Florida, where it was going to be 75 degrees.
Yes, and it was bright and sunny and just the perfect environment, I think, for a good game of
It
football.
was.
And not just any football game either. We're talking about Florida, Georgia, and the world's largest cocktail party.
Yes, it was fun. And Computer Jesus, as you see, and that's the cool thing about it. Jake, you got this set up for us, got our media credentials. So we got not only special treatment with parking, but we also had an escort, our own personal golf cart.
That we did.
To make sure that we didn't have to walk a mile and a half, which not saying that getting those steps in wouldn't have been good, but, kind of getting to see, right, both. And what I liked about the uniqueness of this is that you saw like a lot of collaboration. It was almost like because they meet every year in Jacksonville. Of course, their shout out Derek, as well as with Jamal, and then of course the what was that? The peach cobbler
Yes,
that they
the
had.
peach cobbler they
us,
had.
right? But I just love watching like the Florida and the Georgia fans all kind of come together there, right? And then of course, we got to see DJ, right? Got a picture with him after the game. Got to be in the media room, as well. It was awesome, man. It was really, really cool experience to kind of get to see all the things that we got to do there with him.
Absolutely, because too that was a type of feel that I've been trying to get you throughout this season. We've had some luck with some schools and not a whole lot of luck with others, but we're very grateful for the University of Florida and their media SIDs and their football people for being able to give us this type of opportunity, not just to be able to show you some love, Jay, in terms of getting that type of exposure, being up there inside of the media press box, that great food that they had for us, the all-you-could-eat ice cream that they had out there in the ice cream machine.
Yeah, that was too much.
Peach cobbler that they had up there, but also to be able to show some love to guys like DJ, who we've been talking about throughout the season, but we haven't had a really great opportunity to go out there and see firsthand. And then also to be able to talk with and be able to go out there and watch Justin Williams and his natural environment.
Yeah.
I think that was such a really cool piece to be able to put it all together.
Yeah, and I look forward to next year to when Georgia is the home team, where we'll get to experience the Bulldog Walk, right, and we'll get to kind of see this right here. Getting to see DJ, right. Obviously, there's interim head coach there, Billy Gonzalez, right there behind him, right. I love the fact that DJ is showing his leadership by leading the team. Right, through the Gator Walk, going right to the locker room. Just in beautiful Jacksonville, getting to play, and I know you'll have a clip coming up, getting to kind of show more of the stadium, but where the Jacksonville Jaguars play. But, this is big boy football at its finest. I mean, everybody travels. I know you asked me, like, Jay, where's Sam Houston's band? Well, let's just say Georgia band was there, at this one, but just kind of getting to see the band rock out, playing the Go Gators.
When that was happening behind us, Jay, I was filming that police escort coming in. I got chills.
Right.
I got chills hearing that because it's such a just great environment to be a part of that very few have that type of an opportunity. Very few people have the luxury of being able to go out and witness this type of an environment. You and I, we were rolling deep in it. We got to see Duval and we're able to get inside of not only those facilities, but also in the press conference.
And you got to ask a question, Jake. And according to DJ, he said that was the best question that he was asked during the whole post-game interview. And we have that.
I'm glad.
We said that in front of everybody. And, you getting asked that question, for copyright reasons and us not getting in trouble. I think we wanted to kind of stay away from the sound. But, I just loved, how we got to do that opportunity. And, of course, going from being La Tech famous, we got to be Florida famous because when DJ comes up to give me a hug and thank me, of course, everybody in the room's like, wait a minute. I've been in this room for 20 years of Florida Gator football. I've never had a quarterback come up and give me a hug. Who the hell is this guy? Well, here I am. Hey. So, and also too, there's something else that I want to address here, Jake, before we end the podcast. The ones that saw the beginning of the show, the ones that have been following us, the ones that are just new to watching the Protect You podcast, we have showcased Justin Williams, the linebacker for Georgia, and we've showcased DJ Lagway, the quarterback for Florida. We've talked about, go back and watch episode number 1. It's on our YouTube. You can watch the replay. But we've talked about how Justin Williams and DJ Lagway not only grew up together competing against each other in Pee Wee football, but because they both were 5 stars in this area, because they both competed against each other from, I would say, I don't know if middle schools went against each other, but for sure on the varsity level, and they both have been varsity football players since they were freshmen, right? With Oak Ridge High School and Willis High School both being in the same district. They have formed a real friendship, a real bond where they're family. DJ and Justin send each other Bible verses weekly to each other. So for all the ones that are on social media trying to clown DJ to say that DJ was smiling after the game and that he was him hoeing around with the Georgia players after a loss and you want this and that, nobody wants to win more than DJ Lagway. I promise you that. I've known this young man personally since he was 10 years old. I got pictures to prove it when he played for my select 7-on-7 team here in Texas. Justin Williams played for my select tackle football organization and our 7-on-7. We got pictures here in the studio that we have proof of it. This ain't no barbershop talk. This is something that is true facts. So when you saw DJ smiling with Justin Williams and hugging him, that is no different than when Justin has had to do the same thing when Willis High School beat Oak Ridge. So please, all the naysayers, I beg you, I plead with you, go do your homework before you let those Twitter fingers get to typing. They are friends. They are family. They, like I mentioned, send each other Bible verses every week. They pray for each other. They pray together. Both of these young men look at each other like brothers. So if you have a problem with that and there's an issue, if you being a fan and you think that that is a slight against DJ, then let that be your personal problem. But that's not going to affect who DJ is, and he's not going to be fake for anybody. And when he sees a family member, no matter what that jersey is, he's going to go say something to them. He's going to go congratulate them. That's, first of all, called sportsmanship. Let's put that out there. I think a lot of people lose that in translation. But that smile and that laughter and that, conversation, which was a brief 2-3 minute conversation, was because of the fact that DJ was just happy for his brother. Although in defeat, he still wanted to go show him love and respect versus just hightailing it to the locker room. So appreciate Jake letting me kind of jump in, wanted to end the show. And I know we like to end on a positive note, but that's just something that was true and dear to my heart. I hate seeing the social media, beat up on somebody. Derek obviously replied, and then that went viral because then people said Derek Lagway replies. These can get lost in translation. But
Yes.
Here's the beauty thing about having your own podcast, right? You get to control the narrative, right?
And we know what the narrative was.
Right.
We know what was behind that.
Right.
When you saw not only, the immediate reaction, but then you saw Justin was jumping up and down. He was happy to see him.
Right. And the thing that I loved about it too, Jake, was when we were in the press box, you were the one that saw it first. And you go, oh, Jay, look at that. Justin and DJ found each other. And the first thing that came out of my mouth and yours was, oh, because we know the family dynamic. And we know that it's just a cool, unique experience to see two young men, let's just call it what it is, been staring at each other.
Yes.
Right, since they both were 15 years old. DJ being quarterback, Justin being the middle linebacker. Where does Justin play for Georgia? Still middle linebacker. Where does DJ Lagway play? Still quarterback. So when you stare at somebody for so long, but then off the field, you're still rocking out with each other. They're in the process now of even talking about doing a camp together this summer. A free camp, I might add, to give back to the community and to help these young men, continuously learn and grow in their craft and show them like, hey, one day you can be us too. So for all those haters on social media, man, like y'all know where y'all can stick it. And I'm just going to leave it at that.
Say a message out there for all the haters for being able to get out there and cover for our guys, because those are our guys.
They are our
those
guys.
are as much as we talk about the family and we talk about, these are assets and these are clients. These are our guys.
They're our guys.
These are our guys.
That's why they're on the wall. DJ's over
Absolutely.
here. Justin's right there. You can see Justin's elbow right here. So they're our guys, and we're honored to be, repping them both. And, and Derek told me.
We're going to stick by them.
Yeah, Derek told me, he's like, Jay, you ain't got to say nothing. You ain't got to do nothing. You ain't got to. I'm like, nope, Derek, you know me. I can't sit back and let things happen, especially when it's untrue. And I'm gonna always defend our guys, especially when they're really great young men. You take a second to get to go know DJ, or take a second to go get to know Justin. Like you'll see what we're talking about. This is not a sales pitch, or we're obligated by a contract.
Say this wasn't
this.
this wasn't a recruiting deal.
None of that.
This was friend talking to friend,
dude,
making that connection of look at this. We've been playing each other for years and years now, and we are inside of Jacksonville Stadium,
and we're on this stage. And you know, last year DJ got injured, so unfortunately he wasn't able to finish the game, and so they weren't able to have that moment last year, right? But they got to experience it this year, and so anyway.
Yeah,
we're good.
We're good. We're good with them.
Jake.
We're good with them. We're good. Say we're good with them. We're very happy to have been a part of that type of experience, Jay, where we've been able to go out there, see some of the high school guys, see some of the college guys that we represent here. But
got to see Moise, got the DeBron.
Yeah, DeBron Hampton was there too.
Receivers at University of Florida that we also rep, and you know, some recruits that came to the game that we also represent as well. So yeah, it was a fun, very, very fun experience. You know, I really appreciate you getting that set up for us, Jake. You know, you're a great director of public relations.
I try to be, Jake.
You are. My feet didn't touch the ground once we landed in Jacksonville.
Say we had everything was good to go, and we again appreciate the support and the help from the University of Florida SIDs, the communication directors for that football program, for treating us like kings and making sure that we didn't miss out on anything. We do genuinely and greatly appreciate every single one of y'all for helping us out on that. Just the same as we appreciate each and every one of y'all for tuning in for yet another episode of the Protect You podcast, Jay. We covered a lot of ground on this one, from Protect You's birthday to the newest additions, ball and get the call. And then capping it all off with our great trip that we had over the weekend.
And I got something else coming down the pipeline, Jake. I got some breaking news that I'm in developments of working on. It's going to be freaking huge.
Oh, I think I know what you're talking about.
And I'm telling you, I just got to finish dotting those I's and crossing those final T's. But you guys be on standby. It's going to be a big announcement that is going to help take Protecion United to the next level, and we're so excited about it. So,
yes, be sure.
Hopefully, the next episode or two, we'll be able to make that announcement.
Yeah, I was going to say, be sure to tune in. Don't miss that. Be sure to drop a subscribe so that way you get the notifications and you will be able to witness it firsthand as we go live on YouTube, X, formerly known as Twitter, as well as on Facebook. We do greatly appreciate each and every one of y'all. Well on our way now to 200 subscribers on the YouTube channel. In case you missed the live stream, be sure to go and check out the YouTube channel, because that's where it'll be posted after the fact, as well as on audio sources. But that does it for this episode of the Protect You podcast. Jake Wilson, as always, alongside Jay Mickens. Justin Woods was our producer. We hope to catch you all on the next one, and we'll see you around.